This video is going to be about insults. Now, it seems like there's a pretty big double standard with insults in our society, and I think that anyone should be able to get over an insult, even if it's a directed insult, even if it's a targeted insult. And one example I can come up with, which is the double standard I'm speaking of, is when, say, you're a white person, like I am, and a black person comes up to you and calls you a cracker, and they are not calling you a cracker in a friendly way. They're calling you a cracker in a derogatory way. They're calling you, what are some other terms? Honkies, snow bunny or something? I don't know. Snow monkey, I think that's one too. Uh, really, you shouldn't get offended by that. I wouldn't, because there's no reason to get offended over your skin color. That's not really something worth offending you over. But then if you were to turn around and, call that person the N-word with a hard R, most of the people, at least around where I live, would say, okay, well, that person is a little bit racist or something. Whereas no one would say that regarding the black person. Even if, it depends, it really does depend on the context, but many people would not say that the black person is being racist. And there's just many different things that a black person can say that if a white person were to say the same thing in inverse would be considered racist. Really, I think this is ridiculous. I think that the context is one of the most important things regarding insults, and if you are insulted by someone, it doesn't matter what the insult may be, if you respond to them with another insult, then, I mean, you might be escalating it verbally, but that doesn't warrant any kind of violence, really, in my opinion. And I think that people are too quick to assume certain kinds of things. Like this guy PewDiePie. I'm not really a fan of him. I've seen a few of his videos and enjoyed a few of his videos, but I think he's kind of annoying, and yeah. But he said the N-word when he was speaking basically vulgarities in response to being in a first-person shooter on a live game in a stream. And I've played those kinds of games before. I know that you can get really pissed off and say lots of things. But it's like the word faggot. Many people think that that word is essentially a bad term because it means, gay. And, I mean, I guess it can mean that, but it has evolved to mean different things. You have to realize that different people use words differently, and depending on the context and how they use it, you should understand that that word doesn't mean the same thing for each person. I know people that when they say faggot, they're not talking about gay people. They're talking about people that are wimps or pansies. And there's other people that I know that when they're talking about a faggot, they're talking about a gay person that's particularly flamboyant and maybe annoying or something. But then there's other times when gay people will call each other faggots. This is the kind of thing where really people should not take so much offense to it. Even if someone is calling you a faggot and you're a gay person and it hurts you, don't give them a reaction, because that's what they want. That's what they're looking for. That's the kind of thing I learned that, when I was in grade school, in early grade school, and elementary school. So, really, people are too easily offended by words and insults, and I think people react to it too much. If you don't like vulgarities, you don't like insults, that's alright. If someone is too vulgar when they're speaking to me, I don't like it either, but I can deal with a certain amount of it. And it's like, I just find it really weird where someone can say something, like in the case of PewDiePie's case, he was saying this to a virtual character that you don't know the race of. He does not know the race of the person that he is actually speaking to. I don't even know if the person could hear him in the game. But, yeah, so this wasn't even directed racially. But even if it was, it's not intended. I mean, it's just one of those words intended to offend someone. You can use, like, for example, asshole. That's a word that people use to offend people, but if you didn't have an asshole, you would die pretty quickly. It's a very important thing. And, all the other kinds of things that you might call someone that are, like, related to genitals. Genitals are important. They create more people. Without genitals, we would not be around. So, the point is, just because something is a bad word doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad in every context. And you should realize that many people are going to use words in different ways, and that they don't all have very strict definitions like certain other words do.